Input statements are used to read data into the program. Input devices include the keyboard, which is usually the default input device, which means if you don't specify otherwise, that's where the input will come from, or also external files. And when you read from an external file, this is called file input. Sometimes when you do this, you use the same input statement that you would use to read from the keyboard, and sometimes it's different. Now, when you want the user, which is the person who's running the program, to enter something from the keyboard, your program has to prompt the user. The program has to tell the user, hey, this is what you need to enter, and then actually read it in. So when the user is prompted for something and actually types something in from the keyboard, we have to store that in a variable so that we can use it. So we're going to represent prompting the user and storing it in a variable in an assignment statement. So I'm going to have, in this case, a variable favnum that's going to store a favorite number on the left. Then we have the assignment operator. And then we have some kind of a prompt where what we're going to do is we're going to ask the user to please enter your favorite number. So all of this is in an assignment statement. We're prompting the user for the favorite number, and when the user actually types that in from the keyboard, that's going to be stored in the variable on the left. So it depends on the system. Sometimes the prompt is printed using just a normal output statement and then a separate input statement reads it in, or sometimes the prompt is printed from the input statement itself, as we've indicated here. So within the input, we're assigning the value that the user enters to the variable on the left. In a lot of systems, it's possible to specify what kind of value you want the user to enter. So for example, if I want the user to enter a positive number, I might have an assignment statement in which I have a variable on the left, then the assignment operator, and then some kind of a prompt asking the user to enter a positive number. If the user doesn't enter a positive number, the input statement might indicate that in some way, or the type of value that's stored in the variable could be examined to see whether it actually was a positive number or not, and then the program can check to see whether or not the user actually followed directions. Almost always with input, there's a valid range of values. So in a very friendly program, what we would do after we prompt the user and read something in is we would check to make sure that what the user entered was in fact a valid value. And if it wasn't, we'd give the user another chance. So we'd prompt them again. We're going to need a few more concepts before we'll be able to do that, however. But that's what we'd really like to be able to do when we have input, is to make sure that the user has entered something that's in the valid range.